Original post, September 29, 2023. My, 19 male, sister Haley, 20 female, is a very open and flirty person. She's never put a label on her sexuality, but she has said she's attracted to everyone. Ever since we were in high school, she'd often flirt with girls I was interested in. She'd also flirt with my friends when they'd come over to hang out. Sometimes Haley would even come into my room without knocking just to talk to them. It was very uncomfortable and some of my friends even stopped coming over to my house because of it. This made me really angry, and I told our parents, 45 male, and 42 female, but they'd always say I'm being homophobic and to leave her alone. So she'd always get away with it. A few months after she graduated, she moved out of the house, and I haven't had to deal with her flirting with my friends anymore. 7 months ago, I met my now girlfriend Layla, who's 18, and we really hit it off. We've been together a little over 4 months. One thing to note about Layla is that she's really shy, so she never voices any concerns until after the fact. Well, I really wanted her to meet my parents, so we set up a quick dinner at a nice restaurant on Tuesday night. Without even telling me, my parents invited Haley, who was almost 30 minutes late. For the better part of the dinner, she would constantly flirt with my girlfriend. She'd give Layla compliments about her clothing, body, facial features, and even offer her number multiple times. My parents would just laugh along with her antics, saying it's just how she normally is. But I could clearly see Layla was uncomfortable, so I paid my side of the bill and took her home. When we got to her house, I asked if I could spend the night and she said yes. And that's where I've been for the past few days. My parents and Haley have been blowing up my phone, calling me all sorts of names, which has me thinking I was in the wrong. I haven't answered any of my sister's messages, but I told my mom where I am. When I asked Layla about it, she said the compliments were nice at first, but she got uncomfortable. My parents think I'm an asshole for ignoring my sister's messages, and an even bigger asshole for walking out of the restaurant. They say I was entitled and rude. So, am I the asshole for making a big deal out of my sister flirting with my girlfriend? Relevant comments. Comment 1. What's your relationship with your sister like? OP, I'm already really low contact with my sister and have been since a few months after she moved out. Last time I saw her was Easter for a few minutes. I'm thinking of going low contact with my parents, but my girlfriend says she would feel bad if this is the reason I stopped talking to my parents. I don't want her to think it's her fault, but I'm pretty sure she's going to blame herself anyways. Comment 2. Would your parents think it was funny if you flirted with Haley's dates? OP, Haley has never been in a relationship long enough for them to meet our parents, which is why I think she has so much fun flirting with everyone. It just makes me angry when I can visibly see my friends and girlfriend getting uncomfortable with it. A few told her to stop before, but she didn't. Edit, that actually reminded me of a time one of her female friends came over a few years ago and I hinted that she was pretty. My mom said I was a creep and had to stop stalking my sister's friend. Comment 3, I bet if you had a brother your parents would be far less fine with this. OP, I've often wondered that and a few of my friends have mentioned it before. But my parents have always shut down the conversation before I could bring it up. Besides this, Haley and I used to be very close and we had a bunch of stuff in common. But then she came out and it's put a huge strain on our relationship. I'm sure if my sister was actually my brother, my parents would have said something a long time ago. I think they don't want to risk losing my sister and her claiming homophobia over them if they speak to her about it. Comment 4, why do they think you are entitled? OP, they say I'm entitled because I told my parents beforehand that I would be paying for the entire bill, so they didn't end up bringing any money with them. Apparently, my sister paid for them after I left. Update 1, October 1, 2023, 2 days later. Sorry this update took a few days, I'm still reeling from everything that happened. First of all, I want to thank all the people who left comments and judgments. I won't say much as I'm sure you all want to know what happened. It's a lot. I'm still disgusted and don't really know how to feel about all this. Friday night I messaged my mom and dad to let them know I wouldn't be conversing with them unless Layla was given an apology. Up to this point, that still hasn't been received and I don't think it ever will. I also let them know I'd be stopping by on Saturday to pick up my things from the house. Well, Saturday morning I go over to the house and bring my girlfriend's dad, who we'll call Carl, to help me. Sitting on the porch is my sister who tells me immediately she wants to talk. Anyways, we go inside and sit down, which is when she says she has to tell me something without me freaking out. Basically, in a much more dimmed down version, my sister tells me she has had feelings for me since high school, which is when I started going to the gym and slimming out a lot more. She said the main reason she flirted with all my friends is because she wanted to divert her attraction somewhere else. According to her, This is also the reason she moved out so quickly, because she couldn't stand being around me and knowing she couldn't have me. I left. I didn't get any of my stuff and honestly, I don't know if I'll go back to get it. I blocked my sister on everything as soon as I got back to my girlfriend's house and my mom keeps messaging me telling me to apologize for walking out again. I don't know how to feel. I'm absolutely disgusted. I feel like throwing up all the time and I'm not sure how I'm supposed to get up and go to work tomorrow like everything's normal. I haven't told my girlfriend or her dad yet and I don't know if I'm going to. I have no idea if my mom or dad knows, but even thinking about it makes my head hurt. This is so much worse than I thought it was. I know a lot of people might start commenting about how this is fake, and I don't really care. I wish it was. Update 2, October 9, 2023, 8 days later. So, it's been a week. I'm not sure how many people are going to see this. After my last post, I didn't answer many comments because I was still going through the motions of what was said. I wanted to get a quick update out last week, but things got in the way which led us to here. Last Tuesday, I messaged my parents telling them everything my sister had told me. It wasn't until Thursday I got a reply where they called me all sorts of names. They said I was perverted, a liar, and a man-child. However, after messaging back and forth with them for a while it came out on my mom's side that my sister confirmed my story, but she wanted me to say it was false because neither of them wanted to believe it. It's safe to say I have no intention of talking to either of them for a long time. I told my girlfriend everything on Tuesday as well. She was a lot more supportive than I initially thought, so that worked out pretty well. On Friday, we told her father, and we started looking for apartments to move in together. As for all my things back at my parents' house, my girlfriend's dad and a few of my friends went to pick up my stuff without me. I gave them a list of all the necessary things. My friends don't know why I moved out but just that it was serious and not to ask. Which leads us to today. I know a few people on my update post commented about this being fake, and as much as I wish it wasn't, this is the hell I'm living in. Over the past week, I've been looking back at my sister and I's relationship and realized a lot of stuff that isn't normal. I'd give examples but I just want this to be over with. Thanks for the support and this'll probably be the last update. Update 3, June 3, 2024, 8 months later. For a while I forgot I made this post, until it showed up on my Instagram feed a couple weeks ago. Figured I owed you all a final close to what happened. To be honest, it's not much. If anyone remembers, I first posted asking if I was the asshole for leaving a restaurant after my sister openly flirted with my girlfriend. Well, turns out it was a hell of a lot worse, and it came out that my sister had feelings towards me. I basically left home to live with my absolutely amazing girlfriend and her dad for a while. So on to the update. My girlfriend and I are still together, and let me just say she makes every single day worth it and I can't imagine my life without her. I'm so lucky to wake up every morning and just be able to stare at her and remember that she's mine. She's so incredibly smart that I've seen her outwit our incredibly stubborn cat several times. Also, yeah, we got a cat. Silly little orange furball named Mikey with way too much energy for such a small body. He keeps trying to eat the fish out of the tank lol. Pretty sure he has 2 functioning brain cells and that's it. I'm truly living the life. She and I eventually found an apartment for us a couple towns over. It's close to my girlfriend's college and I got a pretty decent job here to support the both of us. My girlfriend's dad, who is an absolute saint, helped with the first and last deposit just to help us out and I can't thank him enough. He's joked a few times about me calling him dad, so I guess that's where we are. As for my parents and sister, I haven't heard anything from my parents except a few voicemails when I first moved from unknown numbers. One of my aunts told me that the truth came out a few months after I moved and the whole family turned on them. Apparently they left town, but I'm not entirely sure where they ended up. As for my sister, apparently she stuck around towns for several months, but ended up spiraling into several substances and vanished with a new boyfriend she got. I don't know where she is now and honestly, I couldn't care less. She isn't my sister anymore and hasn't been for a while now. So that brings my story to a close. I'm sorry if it wasn't as exciting as people were expecting and I apologize that it took me this long to update. Again, I want to thank everyone who sent such supportive messages and advice on what I should do. There were several people who sent me private messages for an update, so this is for you I guess. Anyways, now I'm going to go make my girlfriend some green tea because she's been absolutely obsessed with it lately lol. Story 2, my partner's mother lied, and my family took his side. Original post, April 29, 2024. 3 days ago, I, 25 female, my partner, 32 male, and his mother, were on our way to his sister's house for her daughter's birthday. Just the night before my partner and I had an argument about kids. Nothing new lately, he wants one and we've been trying for a few months now. Anyway, I said we need to see a doctor. He believes that we're both healthy and young and if anything then we're doing something wrong. I was already exhausted from work and wanted to have some rest so I didn't argue much which only made him even more angry. I sat up and let him have his moment then slept. The next day we went to pick up his mother. I tried to start a conversation, but he just kept nodding. Now with his mom with us in the car, I tried my best to lighten the mood so she doesn't feel uncomfortable. After 5 minutes or so he said, "Can you shut your mouth for a minute? I don't want to hear your voice." His mother asked him what's wrong. All I said was I know what's wrong with him. He stopped the car and yelled at me that since I know what's wrong then I for sure know what an immature person I am for starting a discussion with no intention to communicate. Mind you, he was the one who started it and refused to lower his voice and sit down so we communicate like adults. All this time his mother was in the back seat just watching. Growing up in a house where everyone yells to prove their point. I hate raised voices, and him screaming at me for an argument we had yesterday on our way to a birthday party we're supposed to enjoy. Made me lose it and snapped at him, "Can you stop effing screaming? Can't we talk about this when we're back home?" He grabbed my face and told me to never talk to him this way, especially in front of his mother. To this moment she said nothing. His grip on my jaw kept getting worse with every word. He did this before but never used this much force. So, to take his hand off me I tried to grab his wrist and push but ended up scratching him a little. I swear to God I didn't mean to, I just couldn't bear the pain and wanted him to let go. His mother suddenly decided to use her voice and started yelling at me for hurting him and got out of the car and went to his side to check his wrist. I wanted to check his wrist too but was afraid of him losing it even more. He brushed it off and told his mom it was nothing and started the car again. Back home he went straight to the guest room. I decided to spend the next night at my parents' house to decide what to do. My mother and his are friends. Anyway, I didn't say anything, but they told me later that night that his mother visited in the morning and told them about the fight. The thing is she told them we had an argument without mentioning how he started it and wouldn't stop with all the screaming and how he grabbed my face and only told them about me scratching him. Now my family is lecturing me about how I should respect him and consider starting counseling. By family I mean my mother and little brother. My dad didn't say anything. I told them how it went and tried to show them the bruise on my jaw, and they wouldn't listen because his mother can't possibly lie to them and the boy they watched growing up can't be this bad. But the daughter they raised can lie and be this bad? For God's sake, they know how I don't tolerate raised voices and avoid heated arguments at any cost, but no one listens to me now except for my big brother who him and my soon-to-be ex are close friends. What hurt me is instead of at least comforting me they are taking his side while they saw him raise his voice before and call his coworker names. Is it because my little brother brought his girlfriend home, and they gave her my room so she can be close to college and scared that if I break up with him I would come back to stay with them and ruin everything? I have a stable job and can take care of myself just fine. I want to go back to break up with him and pack my things but can't even look him in the eye now for what he made me go through. He called and texted, but like I said I don't even want to hear his voice. He apologized for what he did in a few texts. I'm thinking about showing them to my family? But I feel sad I need to do that so they support me emotionally. All my things are there, and I never did this before because he's my first everything. I'm mad that his mother lied for him while my family didn't even listen to me. Relevant comments. Comment 1. Not the asshole and you need to break up with this dude. It may be a little awkward for a little bit with your mom and his mom being friends, but in no way can you let this dude put his hands on you and scream in your face like that, especially in front of people. Please get out of this relationship before he escalates any further. Comment 2. Not the asshole, ditch this asshole before he really hurts you. Don't let anybody treat you like this. Stay safe. Update 1, May 1st, 2024. Hi. Thank you all for your opinions on my previous post. The night I shared that post I didn't sleep a wink but had to go to work anyway. I didn't want to go back to my parents' house but had nowhere to go, which made things even more complicated. I was tired and all I wanted was to sleep but my younger brother wouldn't let me. He kept trying to talk about it and repeating the things his mother told him. I literally felt like my eyes were going to shut on their own from exhaustion. Suddenly I felt his hand under my chin. When I looked up his face was so close to mine checking the bruise and I pushed him. I know what I did is wrong but at that moment he wasn't my younger brother or anyone I know. I don't know how to explain this part but it was sudden and I didn't realize what was happening I guess. I just don't know why I did push him, not too hard but enough to make him back off a little. I think lack of sleep messed with my head but still. When I realized what was happening, I apologized immediately but he didn't take it well. My mother told him it's okay she's just exhausted and then said, Why didn't you just show us the bruise yesterday? I told her that's exactly what I tried to do, but you wouldn't listen. In her defense, it was covered with makeup and didn't look bad. She said my partner and I need to sit down and sort things out and that I should apologize for the scratch too. She also offered to call and ask him to come tomorrow so we could talk and fix things. I was too tired to argue with her, so I grabbed my things and got out. I'm writing this post from my hotel room. It's temporary, yes, I have a stable job, but can't afford staying here for long. I sent him a long descriptive text where I mentioned everything that happened that day. Even mentioned how it wasn't the first time, but this one left a bruise. Including the scratch, and apologized for it again. Everything just like one of you advised me to do, and I got a response. So I guess it's something? My big brother made it clear to me that he doesn't care if they are close friends, family comes first, and that he will bring a friend with him to help me pack my things when I'm ready. He also offered me to stay with him as long as I need. But I can't do that. Him and his fiancée had a baby recently and her mother is staying with them to help for a few months. I don't want to make things hard for them. The only friend I have is on a business trip. She was supportive and said I can stay with her when she comes back Saturday, so I'm waiting for now. I can't help but feel like I'm overreacting. I do want to leave and I'm acting on it. I know I'm an idiot. I'm just sharing this with you because I can't be this honest with my brother and definitely can't say this to my family too. My brother advised me to not answer his calls and texts until I leave so I don't give him a chance to talk me out of this. My father called me this morning and apologized for not saying anything. He offered me $1,500. I don't think I should accept it. By the way, he loves my mother to death and for him whatever she says goes since forever. So to be honest, I'm not disappointed that he didn't stand up for me that day. At least he didn't try to shut me up. For now, I'm getting any paperwork I might need. Thanks to my big brother and the comments, I know what to do better now. I feel I should clarify something. Yes, we dated for 8 years. But we didn't become exclusive until I was 18. He actually waited. It was my older brother's idea though. His only condition was that nothing would happen between us until I turned 18. I think because they were close friends and knowing that my brother was against it all at first. Made him keep his promise. That's all. I will try and give a final update when I sort everything out. Thank you again. Relevant comments. Comment 1, he didn't wait. He groomed you. This is also disturbing. Your family is so wrong. Please move in with your friend and cut your family off completely. They are encouraging you to stay with someone who laid hands on you, and now that he knows he will get support from your family when he abuses you, it will only get worse. Your family is gross and abusive as well. Get away from all these people as fast as you can. There is a better life out there for you. There are better people out there. How many times do you have to apologize for an accidental defensive scratch? Any man who grabs my face, I would scratch his eyes out. Once someone lays hands on you, you are allowed to defend yourself, no apologies. There is a better life for you out there if you can muster just enough courage to get away and cut contact now. OP, I do realize this now. I'm working on everything you mentioned, I just hope everything works out well. Comment 2, you are not overreacting. Do not let your mom and younger brother gaslight you into thinking you are overreacting. Also, stop apologizing to him. Edit, I am also concerned that your younger brother thought it was appropriate to put his hands on you. I know he was just touching your face to check your bruise, suddenly and without your consent. OP, I hope you know that that itself is not okay. I suggest you steer clear of your younger brother and mom for the time being. Update 2, June 2, 2024. Hi. I don't know where to start. To be honest, I completely forgot about updating until I got a notification a few days ago from someone asking if I got away. A few days after my last update, my brother and a friend of his went with me to pack my belongings. Thank God they did, because we found his mother there too. My ex kept asking to talk with me in private, but both my brother and his friend told him to say whatever he wanted with them in the room. He apologized and asked me to give him another chance with his mother, telling him to man up and stop begging the whole time. I called my friend to thank her again and let her know that I would be staying with my brother for the time being. I stayed with him for 2 weeks. Honestly, I didn't expect his mother-in-law to be that kind. Both she and her daughter, my brother's fiancée, were good to me. I tried to help with the baby, which helped me keep my mind off things a little and not feel like I was in the way. I mentioned in my original post that my ex and I were trying for a baby. I also mentioned in my first update how I felt tired all the time. I thought it was because I was going through a tough time, but I didn't know I was pregnant until I miscarried. With everything going on, I didn't pay attention to my period. I started having period-like cramps the night before. I continued to have cramps the next day, which turned into bleeding, and it was like having a bad period, but the bleeding continued to worsen over the course of the day. I probably wouldn't have even thought I was pregnant if my sister-in-law hadn't told me that I might be miscarrying. I was 6 weeks along. Other than the miscarriage, which I'm still a little shaken by, everything has been good with me. I found myself a place 30 minutes from work. I'm adjusting. The last time he showed up at my work was a week ago or so. 2 of my coworkers told him to never show up again since he has no reason to be there, and he never did since. I'm no contact with my mother and younger brother. She tried to reach me through my older brother, but he told me it's better if I stay no contact at least for a few months. When I posted, I was more focused on his mother lying to my family, but the real issue was him doing that in front of her. If she hadn't visited and lied, I probably wouldn't have told my family and never posted here. So I would have never known that's not how things work and that's not how my partner should treat me. I sometimes think about my ex. I know I seem weak, but I've known him for so long and he was my first everything. But now I don't have to worry about a lot of things. I wake up relaxed and don't have to worry about messing something up. By the way, my first therapy session is this Tuesday. That's all, thank you. Relevant comments. Comment 1, not the asshole at all. It's completely understandable that you're feeling shaken by everything you've been through, including the miscarriage. Sorry to hear about that, by the way. It's important to prioritize your own well-being and take the time you need to heal. It's great that you're taking steps like going to therapy to take care of yourself. Remember, you deserve to be treated with respect and kindness in any relationship. Keep focusing on yourself and your own happiness, and things will get better with time. You're doing great, and I'm rooting for you. What kind of a mother just blindly sides with her daughter's mother-in-law without even listening to her own daughter? Also, what does OP's little brother have against her? Like, I kind of get OP's mother being upset if she thought OP was abusing her husband, but her little brother seems way too invested in this. Is he that concerned that she might take her room back from his girlfriend? Anyway, I hope OP finds people who don't hate her for no reason. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.